Blacks in Maryland have just asked Santa, that is to say, white people, for a nice Christmas present next year. The Maryland Lynching Truth and Reconciliation Commission just finished 6 years of work and spent $500,000 studying the awful present-day effects of lynching on Maryland's black people. The commission found only 38 blacks lynched in the state between 1854 and 1933. But it says this was just the most visible part of systematic racial terrorism that continues to ruin the lives of blacks. The commission has produced a 630-page report with no fewer than 84 recommendations on how to undo the damage. The goal is to put blacks on par with whites in terms of criminal justice, education, health, land ownership, financial and economic sustainability, and media representation. In Maryland, black infant mortality is twice the white rate, and blacks are 7 times more likely than whites to be in prison. So this sort of thing has got to be fixed, along with giving blacks enough money to live like whites. It's the usual nutty black fantasy. If whites would only get out of the way, they'd be living like the kangs they think they were.
Sharp like pirates' lines, we break the bondage tight. Come you speak in revolution, keep the fire burning. The drums guide our stride, we march with purpose proud.
But what has gotten the most attention, even though it would cost nothing compared to everything else, is the recommendation that the state track down the descendants of blacks who were lynched and give them each up to $100,000, in addition to whatever else blacks get. As you can see, the lynching commission appears to be all black, at least in all the photos I could find. Note the lad in the center with exotic neckwear. Here he is at another hearing, and yes, he is wearing a noose. He is David Ulawuyi Fakunle, chairman of the commission, who is also director of the National Great Blacks in Wax Museum in Baltimore, of which I had never heard, but which says it celebrates black history every day. Admission $18 per person, no discount for African Americans. Back to lynching. It was not, as the commission insists, all racial terrorism. It was rough justice. It was very rare to lynch a black just because he was black. Almost all were accused of a crime, and many were probably guilty. Also, more than a quarter of the people lynched in America were white. The Tuskegee Institute has tried to track down every lynching. Out of a total of 4,743 dead, 3,446 were black and 1,247 were white. This includes 2 whites lynched in Maryland. But after 6 years of research, the Lynching Truth and Reconciliation Commission apparently never came across them. They spoil the racial terrorism story. So no truth and reconciliation or $100,000 for Whitey. It's all such a farce. Lynchings were private acts by private citizens. Yes, local government often looked the other way, but government does not compensate the families or descendants of murder victims. Certainly not when the killings are 92 to 171 years old. And 38 black people lynched in a state over a period of 79 years, 1 every 2 years. Blacks in the city of Baltimore alone have been known to slaughter almost 10 times that number in a single year. The Maryland legislature voted unanimously to set up this absurd commission, and a white governor, Larry Hogan, signed the law. And just last week, the State House voted overwhelmingly to set up a commission to study reparations for slavery. We'll get the same charade, hearings, deliberations, and a great fat report no one will read. I'm sure the commissioners will be black, just like the lynching commissioners, and they'll come up with yet another list of utterly fantastic demands that would send Maryland to the poorhouse 10 times over. This isn't just cuckoo, it's cruel. Blacks start licking their chops, but the big payday never comes. Yet another reason to hate Whitey. But it's not just farce. It's what blacks would do if they had the power, and we've seen it happen. Johannesburg, South Africa was a pleasant first world city when whites ran it. Now, with blacks in charge, it has potholes big enough to swim in. The Maryland state legislature is still about 2/3 white. How can whites vote for this foolishness? Are they morons, cynical scum, or just cowards? We can't stop blacks from behaving like children, but it's time for white people to grow up.